Hi, this is Weekly Reflections, and I'm back. I'm NancyJoy. A lot of amazing things going on now. Can you just you can start seeing things happen out there in the world. Good things are happening. Breakthroughs in technology are actually getting out now. Although in one plane it seems dismal, on another plane it's so exciting, of course, as we've talked about. I had a quote this week from Tony Burroughs, who wrote a wonderful book called The Code, the 10 things we should all do all the time, as much as possible, to create a new reality. And I love all 10 of them, practice them pretty much. I had to be reminded of a few. So check it out on the link below on the YouTube and in my emails. But here's what a quote from something he said that I wanted to share with you. One sunny morning, BJ and I were enjoying a cup of coffee, locally grown, looking out over the Kona Coast, atop perch of Rabbit Hill. We were talking about detaching from the things we hold so dear and letting go. And Tony said, you don't really have to let go of anything. You just have to be willing. And that touched my heart. And I'm going to tell you one quick story. When I was in Egypt, way in the beginning of my journeys there, I connected with a wonderful man who's quite well known over there and has died a few years ago, but held a field for a lot of spiritual people, a lot of seekers. And he one day took just me alone down into underneath the pyramid, into the caves under the Giza Plateau. And we were standing opposite each other in a cave-like place, and I had this very dear Aquarian cross with the peace sign in the middle that had been given to me by someone very beloved, and it was precious to me. And I just was staring and feeling his heart. It was such a heart-opening thing. And I knew I had to take that cross off and give it to him. I knew it. There was my ego fighting, but I knew it. So I did. I undid it, and he stood there, and I put the cross around his neck, and, I bowed to him, and there were tears running down my eyes and his. And he smiled at me, and he patted his heart, and he took it off, hung it back around my neck, and he said, Nancy, remember this. You don't really have to let go of anything. You have to be willing to. And of course, that's the old thing, what's yours will come back to you, maybe in a different form, but it will come back to you. And so as we are now detaching and creating this new reality, the things that we hang on to tenaciously and worry about, are we going to pay our mortgage? How are we going to pay our bills? And we hang on to what those bills represent, our credit rating, our mortgages, our credit cards, whatever it is we're going through, and you hang on tenaciously. When really, if you're willing to just let go and let all the wonderful inner thoughts you are creating in this world start to manifest, you will find that many of these things you were hanging on to are totally, it was just a drama for nothing. And he points out somewhere in this, and it's so true, 95% of everything you're afraid of, worried about, fearful of, anxiety-ridden, stressful, 95% of it never, ever, ever even happens. Certainly not in the way you're worried about it happening. There can be surprises there. So, we're all able to access now and hang out in the most amazing space inside of ourselves, pretty much. Not all the time, but pretty much. And as our reality crumbles and it's rearranging itself into a new form, we can't help but think about things we hold dear as the new form. Our grown children maybe that aren't on the same page. And what about my grandchildren? And what about all the animals and the land I protected out here in Iowa and El Shaddai when I leave? And, all those things, because the only thing that's certain is uncertainty. And we all know that. But the one constant in all of this is love and compassion. And that is untouchable, and that's eternal. I remember one day, Mark and I were sitting meditating, and Ezekiel said, all human relationships will end. And, that was very sobering. Kind of sat back and thinking of Mark, thinking of my kids, etc. But that's true. All relationships, human relationships, will end. But of course, the constant is the imprint, the love, the compassion. You know, when I marry couples, I say the words, I promise, I have them repeat the words, I promise to love you forever, no matter what form that love may take. That's a hugely conscious statement. You will always love this person that you united to, egos, personalities, dramas aside. The imprint is there in your heart. And I'm reminded also, as I wrote this, of losing a horse who was 35. This is back in '07. But he'd been with me 25 years. His name was Randy. He died suddenly of a heart attack. And it was very dramatic. And of course, I was left with all the wonderful memories that this horse brought into my life. And I was left with the grief. But the grief didn't last long, because as I opened up and let go, I had the memories, but what I also realized I had was Randy's imprint in my heart. He walks with me every day. Should I choose to focus there, he's always right there. And it's the same with any lost relationship, even a dear friend who's, decided not to be in my life. All I have to do is return to the imprint in my heart, and there she is. And I can talk to her, and I'm very connected. And so there's great magic in this. So in these crazy times, as the holidays approach, I suggest you be in the moment with all your wonderful blessings. And should that shadow cross your realm of uncertainty and not knowing how things are going to look as we shift and change, just remember that anything you hang on to is going to create more drama and more discomfort. And when you're willing to let go of whatever that is you're hanging on to, magic happens. So as you're approaching your holiday, just be ready for this. Be ready to take stock of what in your life it's time to let go of, and be ready to be willing to, and see what form it. I'm reminded of the transporters in Star Trek, how you watch the people step up and they kind of waver and they disappear. And if you didn't know, Star Trek, that they were going to show up exactly the same somewhere else, your perception would be they're gone. Well, this is much the same. Nothing's ever gone. It rearranges its form. It rearranges where it is in your being, from energetic to physical and back and forth. So, just go into your hearts and catch the magic this holiday season of being willing to let go and staying open, because you will always have those imprints of love and compassion and energy of this being, this person, this place will always be with you. And that is the magic. So as you prepare for the holidays, enjoy. Great specials going on Heartlights. If you don't get my email, sign up on my website. And lots of great things happening. A trip to Sedona coming up in May. So take care of who you are, and we'll be back to talk more next week. Bye-bye.